Hey, everybody. This is Erica from the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here a while, welcome back. I use Lenormand to do predictive readings on what's coming in for us and also to sort of explain why things have happened the way that they have happened. I'm the author of The Language of Lenormand, so if you want to learn how to read like I do, the book's available anywhere. There are links right under my video that let you know how to get the video, how to access the deck if that's something that you'd like. I have a course that you can take on your own time that I've put up. And so the links for all of that are right under the video. Okay. Uh, few disparate questions that I want to look at, just things that have been top of mind. And then I wanted to make some observations at the end. So let's just start at the top of my little um, list here. Would love it if you'd like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the thoughtful comments. Um, so I'll talk more about comments at the end of the video. So first thing I wanted to look at is whether or not the horrible tragedy in Texas, the flooding that has caused so many deaths and so much tragedy in that area, whether that will cause you know who to rethink budget cuts to the National Weather Service and FEMA. uh, 47 made a comment like, "Whoa, who could have predicted that this would happen? You know, it's once in 100 years." Well, the Weather Service, for one. It seems there was really a confluence of factors that caused the thing to go um, so badly. It's of course, as everybody's saying, it's very tempting to blame it on the cuts. Apparently, the National Weather Service did what it was meant to do. It did all it could, and that the to whatever degree people weren't warned seems to have been more of a local issue than anything. So I'll let everybody figure that out. But I just would like to know whether this will cause, as we are now, right in the middle of storm season around the country, who to think differently about cutting funding to those programs. So let's just see whether the storms will have had that effect. So for the storm, I'm going to use clouds. That's the card I'm going to look for. And so that'll be the card that's in the middle, assuming it's not at the beginning or the end. And I'm just asking, will this cause a change in direction in terms of taking dollars from those agencies? Okay. All right. So remember, we're looking for clouds, and that will stand for the flood, the storm, the rain. Okay. I just pulled a couple of clarifiers, but I pulled a couple of clarifiers for each of the original five cards. So we have the sun, we have the fox, we have the storm, the flood, we have the key, and we have the scythe. So it's become abundantly clear that the experts in this field are really necessary. They're needed. the storm is the card in the middle, and I can mirror this expertise, card of expertise, with the key. We need FEMA, we need NOAA, we need these organizations that have been cut, like so much other stuff's been cut, if people are going to stay alive. So it's become very clear with that sun there, um, that the cuts were at least partially responsible, and that the cuts are not good. They're not helpful. Okay. So now we go back to the sun, and I just pulled, as I said, a couple of clarifiers for each card. So we have the sun, clarifiers are the tower and the tree. So this is the card for government, really, and the tree is the card for health. So if the population is to stay healthy and alive, it's very clear that the government needs to fund these programs and these departments. The fox is the second card. Remember, this is the card for the expert, people who know about disaster relief, people who know how to predict the weather and give people direction on how they can be safe. They are known for this. And I like this stork here because I think that this will shake people up. I suspect that that Camp Mystic, I think it was. Um, I think it was probably uh, the children of movers and shakers in Texas attended that camp. So I don't think they will let things rest. I think they will make a big stink in Texas, and I think that this will help change whoever's minds need to be changed about why it's a bad idea to gut those agencies, because we need that expertise. Uh, this is the card for the flood, the rainstorm, and the two clarifiers are the letter and the book. So also, this is 47 thinking, how is this going to affect me? Now, he's not running for anything anymore, but how he doesn't know, how is this going to affect me? So, to the degree that he can um, uh, place blame elsewhere, he will try to do that. That said, though, the key is is clarified by clover and ship. I think the one silver lining from this is that the rest of the country could very well benefit, because I think moving forward, um, money will be found for those agencies. Final card was the scythe. And when I went horizontally, this was about the cutting of those programs that did not bode well. Clarifiers are the ring and the garden. I think there will be a commitment made to the people that these programs will not be cut to the extent that they were. Okay. Um, it's just very sad, and I hate to say thoughts and prayers because it really ultimately means nothing. Hopefully, this will be a wake-up call. There will be more. I mean, for example, you've got epidemic levels of measles now. What's that all about? Well, it's because people are not getting vaccinated. And why aren't they getting vaccinated? Because the head of our health agency, what's his name? Kennedy, doesn't think that it's necessary. He believes in, herd immunity. So, like in his day, what people would do is they would have parties. So if kids were sick, you'd bring all the kids to that house, and that way everybody would get sick. And then they'd all get it, and then they'd all get over it, and that would be it. Well, that is not modern thinking by any stretch of the imagination when we have a vaccine. So there will be a lot that will be rethought in terms of policies and things getting cut, but not before a lot of people experience a lot of pain. And Texas is our exhibit A. Okay, the next question. So, you know how for years now we've been waiting for the Epstein files, the client list. We know a lot of the names that are on in his little book. Uh, we have seen ad nauseum photographs and video of you know who with Epstein. Um, and when Pam Bondi came into her post as the head of the Justice Department, excuse the Attorney General, she said she was going to publicize everything, you know, the files, the list, the whole bit. This made the MAGA faithful really happy because the MAGA faithful are convinced, they're still convinced that Epstein's Black Book and that file is full of um, incriminating evidence against Democrats. So they were thrilled when Kash Patel, for example, became head of the FBI because Kash Patel was going to uncover all of this. Okay. Then the next thing that happened was Pam Bondi said, okay, to some journalists, here's the file. But when they opened the file, the copies of the file that they were given, they realized, wait a minute, we've seen all this information. The public has seen all this information. So she gave people um, documents that were already publicized and had been, by the way, for years. Well, now there's a new take. According to the Justice Department, there is no file. There is no black book full of client names. It just simply does not exist. Well, I mean, what? First of all, how is she going to publish something, make something available if it didn't exist in the first place? Now, Kash Patel himself has said, yeah, no, there's no list, there's no file, there's no, what are you talking about? It doesn't exist. This has created quite the uproar in MAGA world because they're really disappointed. They thought that this would bring Democrats down. Now, I mean, I have my own theory, which is that of course it existed. The list, the file, of course it existed. Notice I put exist in the past tense, existed. I am sure that it has been deep sixed, gotten rid of, destroyed. But I don't know, let's see. So I guess what I want to know is let's just ask the general question, what's up with the Epstein Black Book, the client list, which I'm pretty sure we all saw. I mean, I've seen sort of redacted excerpts from it, didn't you? But apparently it never existed. We never saw it. Who are you going to believe? 47 or your lying eyes? Pam Bondi or your lying eyes? So I'm going to use the book for Epstein's client list and book. And I just want to know, what happened. Okay, so let's look. Epstein's book. He is the pedophile, if you recall. Okay, so this is Epstein's book. Okay. So, whoops, sorry. We have, for our original five, we have the bear, the cross, Epstein's book, his files, all that. We have clouds, and we have crossroads. Okay. So this is 47, as you recall, in his most narcissistic. These documents were really going to cause him some trouble. Um, Maybe even end his career, change people's opinions of him, meaning MAGA's opinion of him, that would have caused him great pain. So here we have the documents in the center. The last two cards are clouds and crossroads. I can mirror this pain with clouds. So because that would have been so painful for him, so difficult, create such problems, what the DOJ has decided to do is to just um, gaslight everybody, confuse everybody. I know you thought you saw what you thought you saw, but you didn't see it. Gaslight everybody. And, don't look over there, look over there. No, look over there, look over there. Crossroads. He wants, you know who, wants that thing buried. So this is just distract people from this and make it disappear. Now, again, this is 47. The clarifiers for him are fish, man, and woman. I think this is Patel, and I think this is Bondi, and I think for a price paid by him, the narcissist in chief, um, the file and the little black client list book were disappeared. Entertainment purposes only and allegedly, as we like to say here on YouTube, for the record. Second card is the cross. Clarifiers are the fox, the key, and the tower. So this was, again, this was going to cause all kinds of grief for all kinds of people, not the least of whom is 47, but it's not just 47. It's people in government, people in the courts. There were a lot of names in that book. But, the government is adept, meaning very well practiced at doing what needs to be done. This is the government handling the situation. They're very good at that, getting rid of what needs to be gotten rid of. Here we have the documents themselves. We have clover, scales, and sun. So for a short moment, we had an opportunity to have light cast on this entire Epstein situation. That would have been great. Justice could have been served quick, fast, and in a hurry, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Instead, we're told nothing to see here. What are you talking about? There was no such list. There was no such little black book. There's no such file. Never happened. No. Um, the belief being that, it would have caused a lot of trouble moving forward into the future, um, just a lot of controversy. That was the message. So they had to get rid of it. So here we have crossroads. Don't look over there, look over here. And the clarifiers are the snake, the ship, and the lily. The thinking is to create this smokescreen, to obfuscate in this way, to tell people, you know, let me gaslight you. There was no such thing. We know that this is nefarious, that they are up to no good, as they say this. What they're hoping is that people will just move on. Epstein's dead, let it go. Ghislaine is in jail forever, just let it go. And let's just not talk about it anymore. The lily is the card for peace. Let's just pretend it never happened. I had a viewer who asked me to look at, or did I know whether Epstein was alive or not? And I will tell you what I wrote them. No, he's dead. And I will say further that there is video, of course, of his cell. However, the video is missing 60 seconds worth of recording. So there's a 60-second missing gap. And it was at a strategic time. So what happened during those 60 seconds? Was he helped to unalive himself? I don't know. Uh, we'll never know. But I'm just going to say that that situation is not what it appears to be. And I will further say, when the powers that be want something buried, like they really want this buried, I guess it stays buried. Remember, it's not just 47. It's other people who have a lot of power and influence who were in that client list. And so I think for certain some, I do think money was exchanged because of the fish there. I think that people who had charge of it got rid of it. Entertainment purposes only. Are you entertained? Good. Um, let's see what's the next thing. Oh, so did you hear that Putin, his Secretary of Transportation, was fired recently? And I think it might have been even the day after he was fired, he was found unalived in a car and so, my question, and further, there's speculation that he was fired because of misappropriation of funds, money that he was meant to use for the Office of Transportation went into his pocket. It was found out, and so Putin fired him. But I just want to know about his end. Uh, We know he was found with the shot, in the head, but I mean, did he have any help? Just curious. I mean, he didn't fly out of a window. That's something. But yeah. So I'm going to use the young man for him. He wasn't old, so we'll use the young man. And what happened to him? Okay, I'm just going to leave it at five. So we have the star, the dog, him, letter, and woman. I think that he had been found to be embezzling. That's not good. I think that he was thinking about the future of his family because this is the card for family. Um, and I think he wrote letters to women in his life, whether it was a daughter or a wife or something. I think he left a letter. I think he I think he just decided not to be here anymore. I don't think it was anything else. Okay. Uh, two more things and then my last little teaching for the day. Let's see. The America Party. Okay. So I don't think the paperwork has been officially filed yet. There are procedures. You can't just say, I'm forming a party and then boom, there's a party. There are steps that you have to take if you're going to form a party. Sorry. Apparently, uh, Elon is fully intending to create this party. And apparently, Mark Cuban has encouraged him to do this and has said he would help him do this. That's very interesting. You can research Mark Cuban if you don't know who he is, but he is a very wealthy guy in his own right. He was backer of Kamala Harris during the most recent, I guess you could call it, election. And now he's saying to Elon, listen, I'll help you form this party. Uh, Originally, I thought, well, who's going to be in that party? Like, why would anybody want to join that party? But if you've got all the money in the world, you have all of the resources in the world to influence people's opinion through, for example, advertising and through manipulation of information and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's not like he couldn't do it. He could do it. So then you say, well, who would be in this party? And I think if we really think about it, maybe politicians, Republicans, who want some exit ramp from you know who. And if he's dangling money and saying, listen, if you come over to this party, I will not only not primary you, I will make sure that you win. That could be pretty attractive. So I think there will be Republicans who peel off and join Musk. Then you have to ask yourself, well, I mean, who would vote for um, people in that party? But I guess again, if you dangle enough carrots in front of enough people, Liquid 47, I'm gonna lower the price of eggs. I'm gonna end all wars. You just dangle a carrot and people will go for it. They can't vote. They can't vote for you know who anymore. So there will be people who will be looking for the next the next big thing, the next savior. So I guess I'm just going to let spirit take over, and I'm going to ask how are the prospects looking for this America party? Now, by the way, the planks on this party are not great. Um, Let's see if I can find them quickly. Uh, we'll call it. Um, okay. Um, let's see if I can do it. I mean, there are certain um, platform planks that are worth paying attention to. Okay. So he wants to reduce debt and have responsible spending only. Okay, that sounds good, but I mean, look at what Doge did. Just saying. Um, so I had it and then I lost it. Okay, wait. Okay, so responsible spending. Okay. Modernize the military using AI and robots. I guess okay, whatever. Less regulation across the board, but especially in energy. Well, kiss our national parks and everything else goodbye because that's just, you know, drill, baby, drill, coal, 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 pollution, pollution, pollution. So that's not that great. Um, The platform is pro tech, accelerate to win in AI. There's a lot of great things about AI. There's a lot of things about AI that are not so great. Free speech, okay. Centrist policies, and then, lest we forget, natalism. Do you know what natalism is? Natalism is sort of a policy whereby through financial incentive, you encourage white women to have more babies. That's what that is. So he will clean it up and fix it up and pretty it up so that some people will find it attractive. And let's face it, some of the public is not the brightest bulb. You know, so let's just see. I'm not gonna pull a clarifier, but what I'm asking is, will this America Party take off? Will it represent, will it present itself as a player? Of course, the thinking is that it will do the most damage to the Republican Party as we know it, but that remains to be seen. Uh, okay, let's see. Spirit's going to pick all the cards. What's going to happen with this proposed America Party of Elon's? Hmm, okay. I just pulled clarifiers on the last card. So we have the book, we have the scythe, we have clouds, star, and then this is what I drew the clarifier on the crossroads. So, you know, he's exploring possibilities. He's not sure if it can be a go, but he really has decided that this is something that he wants to do. This is very sort of a future-oriented party. I think the goal of it, of course, is to have the technocrats run things. We would not have democracy. We would be run like a monarchy, but the people at the in the king level would be the billionaires, the tech billionaires. So, very sort of futuristic, not Star Trek, because Star Trek's mission was much more noble than this. But, he likes space. So he's made the decision. The problem is with Elon is that he is his thinking is not the most linear. Um, his mind is kind of scattered. And so whether he could actually pull the thing together, he hasn't done it quite yet. It's still pretty nebulous, what it would look like. The final card is Crossroads. And this is the question, can you get people theoretically from both sides of the aisle to switch over? Can you get established politicians, especially, to switch over to this third party? He wants to really sort of disrupt the system as we know it. And I'm not saying that the system doesn't need disruption, but I don't know if Elon is the one I would pick. So the clarifiers are the fox, the bouquet, and the ship. So I think that he is trying to figure out what path to take with this party because, especially because the book mirrors the crossroads. He's trying to figure it out. I think he's got a lot of experts that he is consulting, including Mark Cuban. This would be quite the feather in his cap. This would be quite the reward for the tech bros. Um, and the technocrats, like Curtis Yarvin, etc., Peter Thiel. This would be quite the cherry on top for them. And it looks like that plans for this party will move forward. Don't let yourself get hoodwinked, run amok, and played, because uh, they will present it as this panacea, you know, this nirvana-like option, but it will not be that, just so we're clear. Um, One more thing, and then a little lesson for the day. How did the meeting today go between Netanyahu and 47? How did the meeting go between Netanyahu and 47? I think I'll use birds because that's the card for meetings. Okay. How did the meeting go? You know what? These cards don't feel shuffled enough to me. So I'm going to just shuffle them a little bit better. Could you, if you've not done it already, be like, share, subscribe? We're getting there. I told you when we get to 35,000, I will take 2 hours and do free readings live here on this platform. Um, we're not there yet, but we could get there by the end of the month, maybe. Okay. All right. And we're looking for the birds because that will stand for the meeting between Netanyahu and 47. Keep in the deck. I know it's not the last card. I already checked, but it's the next to the last card, which means that, of course, as you know by now, it's not going to be the card in the middle because it's the next to the last card. Uh, I only have one card after it, so I'm going to put it down. And there's only one card after it, but I'm going to put three cards in front of it. And then this will be my fifth card. Okay. So this is the meeting between Netanyahu and 47. So we have the stork, we have the rider, we have the coffin, the birds, and the clouds. So I am sure that 47 went into it, as he tends to, very optimistically, sure that he's going to convince Netanyahu of whatever it is he wants to convince Netanyahu of. But the final card is the clouds. So I don't think that the meeting went as well as he would like for it to have gone. Um, the second card is the rider, and the rider is about the news coming in. What is the news from this meeting? Because this is the fourth card. What's interesting, of course, though, is the card that's in the center. I intended for it to be the birds, but it's not the birds. Instead, it's the coffin. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think that um, 47 got what he wanted out of Netanyahu, but I also think that any readout we get will be inaccurate. They're not good at doing readouts of how meetings go. So, this coffin is a box, right? And it's closed, it's confined, it can be secret. So, but bottom line beyond that, I think that this is kind of a dead in the water card. I don't think 47 achieved what he hoped to in this meeting with Netanyahu. So two bad guys get together and, you know, I think it might have been a draw. I think Netanyahu holds a lot of the cards, uh, and Netanyahu knows that. And 47 wants his Nobel Prize, which, God willing, and the creek don't rise, he will never get. Um, but I think that the conversations were a bust. Conversation was a bust. Okay. So finally, oh, first I wanted to, well, I'll save one of the things I was going to say for another time. But anyway, thank you for all of the comments on the last couple of videos. There were some wonderful ones, fulsome ones, really rich, thoughtful comments. And I was delighted and gratified to only get, I would say, three that were um, less than that. And I just, I think in that, and this is not the one with Dr. Lena that you saw yesterday. This is the one the day before. I'm wearing a red shirt that so many of you liked. But anyway, I made notes. Um, so, people come to watch me, I guess, because, I read cards and it's a different system than other systems. So people are interested in that. People say they like my voice, they like my affect, they think I'm smart. I teach them vocabulary and history, and all of that is really wonderful. Uh, but I think sometimes people come and I don't know. I guess they hear the voice and they see the affect, and then they think that what they are getting is something different than what I have to give. So there were several comments, again, just like maybe three, and a couple of them were people hit the like button. So maybe more people agreed than just the three. But there are certain words that as Black people, the Black people who are in my audience, you all will smile or not. You might roll your eyes when you hear these terms. There are certain terms that we hear all the time that are dead giveaways for the fact that whoever is using these terms is not part of our tribe. I don't know why they're here. I don't know why they stay. Maybe they won't have stayed after that video. But here are the terms. There's three of them. One person accused me in that video of having a chip on my shoulder. My Black audience members know that whenever Black people reference race in a setting that is not all Black, uh, we run the risk of being accused of having a chip on our shoulder. Just the very fact that we have not sort of just let it go. It was a long time ago, which, by the way, it was not a long time ago. It's still going on. But anyway, that was one. That's sort of like a buzzword. When I hear, oh, chip on my shoulder, you're definitely not my tribe. Another one was this was a funny one. Someone said, I don't say nice things or friendly things to Black people because just in case they give me an attitude. I don't want to deal with an attitude. An attitude? Like what? What are you talking about? Uh, is an attitude going to kill you? So I do notice this tendency towards, in every situation, wanting to be comfortable, unchallenged. I challenge people here, and most of you, the great majority of you are good with that. Um, but I guess this one person thought that I had an attitude, another term that Black people will be very familiar with. And then the third term, I want you to really give some thought to. So this person said that that video, so if you want to go back and watch it. Most of you did not get this impression, but again, I thought it was interesting. So the person accused me of being divisive. Divisive. So, in other words, if you talk about a hard subject and you say things that people don't like, you're being divisive. But what does divisive mean? Divisive means that you're separating people. So let's say, for the sake of argument, what this person meant was that you're separating the races. You're making it an us against them thing. I think that's what they meant, divisive. So what would make it not divisive is what I would like to know. Because here's my theory. I think for me to be not divisive, according to that person's definition, it would be that everything out of my mouth would feel like a kumbaya moment, and that I would do nothing but, I don't know, praise people for being on the right side of history and never bring up the ways in which some of us are not on the right side of history. As long as I make that person feel good, I am not being divisive. But I mean, who's doing the dividing and dividing? What do you mean? So, should I just, or if I were quiet, then we can have this illusion of kumbaya. So the person said, what did they, because I mean, I have it somewhere. I didn't write the whole, I mean, I should have put it in my notes, but I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. Um, because I thought it was an interesting way of putting things. Uh, okay, hold on. They said, Um, and please do like, share, subscribe. If you do like, share, if you do want to like, share, and subscribe. I mean, if you don't, this may not be for you, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm not requiring anybody to be here. Um, and then there was one more comment I wanted to make a comment on, but let's see if I can find this thing. I didn't get rid of them. I didn't boobity bobbity boo them, uh, because I mean, they weren't rude or anything. Uh, I wish I had. I'm sorry to make you all wait while I scroll, but I just want. I'm trying to get the words exactly. Um, can I not get it? Maybe they got rid of it themselves. Um, oh, here it is. I didn't choose to be white, and I'm sorry you think I lord it over you. It's not my fault you have a chip on your shoulder. You need to look at your own prejudice. Bye. And that was one. This is the other one. I'm careful not to say anything I think might be helpful or caring to people of color, because I know it won't come out right and I'll get an attitude I wouldn't know what to do with. So I shut up and everyone's happy, I guess. If you get an attitude, then let that be the jump off point for a conversation, right? I mean, you're not going to die from somebody's attitude. Here's the one that I was looking for. I'm truly disappointed in how divisive your message is. My people, my Jewish people, have always been persecuted, enslaved, and discriminated against. For the most part, we have not railed against the other in a now it's your turn manner, the way that you have. I have always seen, felt, and worked against the iniquities of our culture. To lump all of us white people together is as prejudicial as lumping all black people together. Both are not productive. And then someone agreed with them and said, I totally agree with you. I don't deserve to have a door slammed in my face. So, um, let me say this. Did you ever hear the story of Cinderella? And I don't mean the sanitized Disney version. I mean the actual Grimm's Brothers story. In that story, Cinderella is sort of the scullery maid to her evil stepmother and stepsisters, her father being dead, and her mother, I guess, being dead too. And as you know, from all versions of the story, there is a prince who lives in a castle and he's having a ball and he wants to meet his bride. So invitations are sent out to everyone, and so everybody, wants to go. Well, the evil stepsisters go to the ball, and we all know the story. We know that the little mice and this fairy godmother create a beautiful situation for Cinderella. So she too goes to the ball. And she's dressed in a beautiful gown and she's got glass slippers that are made special for her for this occasion. She has a wonderful time at the ball. The fairy godmother has said to her, okay, the thing is, you got to be by midnight, you got to be back in the carriage because the carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. So, in her haste to leave on time, because she's having such a great time, she loses track of time. In her haste to leave on time, she loses one of her slippers, her glass slippers. The prince runs after her because he loves her. He felt it's love at first sight, and he misses her, but he gets the glass slipper. So he decides he's going to go far and wide throughout the kingdom to find the girl who got away, the person who was wearing this glass slipper. So his emissaries take the glass slipper to everybody's home, and they go to the place where Cinderella lives with her stepmother and ugly stepsisters. And in the original version, the ugly stepsisters try on the shoe, and when it doesn't fit, they chop their own toes off to jam their foot into the shoe. So invested they in being the one that the prince picks. Well, my question is, if the shoe doesn't fit, why are you cutting off your toes to jam yourself into it? If you're not the person I'm referring to as being whatever you thought I said I was accusing people of. Why are you wearing it? Why are you owning it? Why are you coming at me like that? I think it's because I touched a nerve, and that's okay. Um, no, we may not be in the same tribe. That's what they said. Well, we're not of the same tribe. And I wrote back and said, I guess maybe we're not. And I'm good with that. And I wish you well. So I tell this story not because I am harping on the very, very few who said something negative. I'm trying to make this be a teachable moment. And that one of the reasons that people are so loath to talk about race in mixed settings is because these are the kinds of things that you hear. Well, you've got a chip on your shoulder. You're playing the race card. You're divisive. You have an attitude. It's it's funny. Listen, I desegregated a school, as I told you, when I was 8 years old. I've been hearing this stuff for 60 years. So I'm very used to it. It doesn't bother me. But for those of you who are well-intentioned and do want to do the work, and that is the vast majority of you, when you talk amongst yourselves, these are the kinds of things that you might want to bring up as just sort of not helpful, uh, terms that do not further the conversation. And they do speak to a sort of a nerve being hit. And what's that all about? I'm not going to examine that with people. I'm not here to, well, why does what is that doing for you? Why did that trigger you? Yeah, I'm not here for that. But when I say talk amongst yourselves, talk amongst yourselves. You all are the ones who can heal each other, you white viewers of mine. As a Black person, I can't do it. My Black viewers can't do it, nor are we inclined to do it. But you can heal each other. So talk to each other. Um, because those comments come from a place of someone who was asleep and then feels as though they've been shaken awake and is not responding well to that. So maybe, part of the work that the rest of you do is, you know, triaging and doing uh, first aid for those people who have cut their toes off to jam their foot into that glass slipper. Uh, because, again, being asleep avails us nothing, helps us not at all. I had one more thing. I had a viewer who said they were white, and they said, I appreciate all the people thanking Erica for her work, but it's not her job to educate us white people. It's our job. And let me just say to her, I do appreciate the appreciation that I receive from viewers on this channel. I appreciate it when you say thank you, when you tell me your stories, when you show me that you understand. I, I don't know about that viewer, I appreciate it. I can't do your work for you. That's true. But as I said to this particular viewer, it's very hard to do work in a vacuum. Like when you don't know what to do, how are you supposed to do the work? So I'm here to just do the things that I do, and then at that point, talk amongst yourselves. Um, so yeah, I don't need policing on my channel at all in any kind of way. And most of the conversation is, like I said, very moving because it's very honest. And I think that's great. I think I have the best viewers in the world, including those ones whose comments I mentioned, because at least they felt moved enough to engage. I hope they stay. They may not. Um, but I'm doing what I know how to do, and if it fits you and what you come here for, then that's great. So anyway, I think I'll probably see you tomorrow. Not sure what I'll talk about then, but thank you all for being here, and I'll see you soon.